Yes, there is. The issue is a very complicated one, though. It depends on what types of creditors you have, what state you live in, because there can be both state and federal creditor laws, obviously. So in Louisiana, one of the things we first look at is, we go to the state statutes that deal with what assets are exempt in Louisiana. And we actually have a fairly strong statute, but it's going to vary from state to state. So the first thing we look at when we meet with a client like that is to look at who are the creditors, and then what state do they live in, and specifically what sort of assets are exempt, and we start there. So as an example, in Louisiana, most retirement accounts, 401ks, Roths, IRAs, are generally exempt from seizure by creditors. Similarly, the cash value of life insurance policies is often, and it's based upon when the policy was issued, but that is often an asset that cannot be seized by creditors. There's a somewhat similar rule for annuities as well. So a lot of people don't realize that their annuities, their retirement accounts, their life insurance policies are often protected, at least under Louisiana law. And again, you'd have to check your local state's statutes relative to whatever state you live in. Beyond that, though, what sort of issues come up? Well, some states like Florida, there's a homestead exemption that exempts a lot of the value of the home from seizure by creditors. In Louisiana, only the first $75,000 of equity is protected. Business interests, so LLCs, S corps, partnerships, generally aren't protected from seizure by creditors. So for some of our clients, we'll start looking at things like domestic asset protection trusts, which are trusts that are specifically designed to help protect your assets from future creditors. Pretty much every state has some laws. In Louisiana, it might be a revocatory action. In other states, it might be called a fraudulent conveyance statute. But generally, the concept is that you can't transfer assets in a manner that is meant to defraud existing creditors. However, for future creditors, there are steps we could take, such as converting assets to exempt assets, possibly moving some assets into a domestic asset protection trust. Many states authorize these so-called DAPs, D-A-P-T-S, and even though you're a resident of one state, you have the ability to use the trust jurisdictions of other states. So for some of our clients, as you get older, the protection of your wealth becomes even more important to most families than the growth of their wealth. So when we start talking about asset protection, it's definitely a very important component of the estate and business plan that we do for our clients. Even in our clients' wills, I see a lot of people who come in, they have wills that just aren't maximizing the potential asset protection. So in our wills, oftentimes we'll recommend to our clients that the trust that's set up inside the will actually go for the longest term allowed by law. We can let the kids take over the trust, to manage it once they're mature enough. But by having those assets, held in trust for the longest term allowed by law, we can actually protect, the children once you pass away from all sorts of threats with divorces, lawsuits, bad business deals, etc. So again, if we can ever help you with any of this, please contact us. We'll be happy to have the opportunity to help you.